Now, we have another major story for you tonight. CBC News has learned that a man associated with the Toronto 18 terror group was able to sneak out of Canada undetected, travel to Syria, and fight alongside extremists. Senior correspondent Adrienne Arsenault broke this story, and she picks it up from here. Adrienne.
So, Peter, the list of Canadians who've gone overseas to wage jihad is growing. There are new names and faces emerging almost every day, and accounts of some of their deaths are filtering back to us, even though Canada's Department of Foreign Affairs insists it has no official information on the deaths of any Canadians in Syria. CBC has learned that among the young men to leave to go fight with extremist groups in Syria is someone many only knew from court sketches, Ali Mohammed Diri of Toronto. Initially arrested back in 2005 for smuggling weapons, Diri became one of the first associated with the Toronto 18 case, a disrupted terror plot that included plans to blow up the Parliament buildings, CSIS, and the CBC. Diri served his time at Canada's highest security prison, the Special Handling Unit in Quebec, and was released in October of 2011 with no apparent restrictions on his movements. It now seems that within the year he'd gone to Syria to fight, and he didn't hide it, according to an imam who knows the family.
I think he informed the family that he is in Syria.
Mubin Sheikh, who once infiltrated the Toronto 18 terror group at the request of CSIS and the RCMP, says word of what Diri had done emerged more broadly within the last few weeks.
While he was in prison, he was trying to convert people, talking about the filthy white people, etc. Did his time, was quiet about it. You know, he was released, and he ended up in Syria fighting with an extremist group and has died.
His death, he says, was announced at a Toronto mosque within the last month. So should anyone have seen this coming? Apparently, just about everyone should have expected it. CBC has obtained parole hearing documents for Diri, who was denied early release every time. The documents portray a man with no remorse, considered a flight risk, who was told by the parole board, there's an estimated moderate probability that you will once again engage in the medium and long term in violent behavior at both the general crime and terrorism levels. Further, the board notes that at one point Diri declared, I'm out in 2 years and my actions will speak louder than words. So how did he get to Syria? It's believed he and another man traveled after buying tickets to Dubai in cash in the fall of 2012.
I'm sure the authorities are aware of how he left.
Because it was not a normal way to leave.
Well, if he didn't apply for his own document, he didn't travel, how did he travel?
Actually, CBC has learned Diri did not use his own passport, possibly borrowed or stole one from a relative. Perhaps Ali Diri suspected he was on a no-fly list. We may never know. Using someone else's passport to leave the country is, according to security sources, hardly unusual. It's also hardly comforting and hardly the last of it. Peter?
All right, Adrienne, thank you. Adrienne Arsenault here in Toronto tonight.